Came back up. Oh. Not on this one. I think we're good. Hey, thanks for joining us here late on a Sunday evening. I'm 13 News meteorologist Matt Standridge. It's been a snowy day all across Indiana. Every single Hoosier has picked up at least about 1.5 inches of snowfall. We wanted to give you a timeline of when we think the snow will finally come to an end. I think the finish line is in sight. We're going to let you know how the roads are doing out there. Maybe you're sitting at home and thinking, okay, how much earlier do I need to wake up for your Monday morning to hit the roads and get to where you need to go? So we're going to take a look at the roads, how they're doing now and how we think they'll do overnight tonight. And we'll even take a little bit of a look at maybe our next snow chance. But I want to start off with the radar this evening. All the blue color shows you the snow that continues out there. Now here's the thing, the clouds are really low, so you can kind of see where the bubbles of radars are across the Great Lakes. We've got one in northern Indiana, we've got a radar dome in Indianapolis, we've got a radar dome off towards the south and west as well. So you see these breaks in between, but they're not really breaks. It's just the radar beams higher that you can't really see the snow falling at the bottoms of these clouds. So we still have some snow showers out there in Lafayette. We still have them there towards Winchester and Richmond, and then even to the south and west, Bedford and Seymour still getting some of those snow showers. But what I can tell you is that they are fading from all the radar sites in central Illinois. If I had to kind of put a guesstimation on it, the back edge would be about here. So this is extreme eastern Illinois, western Indiana, kind of just east of Effingham. So we still have another probably 3 hours to go. I wouldn't be surprised if we're not wrapping things up until about midnight tonight with some of the snow showers. Now they already have weakened just a little bit, but there's still snowy skies all across the area. The heavy stuff is now really pushed into parts of Ohio. Even in some of these gaps is where we have some of that heavier snowfall. We had this burst, see this one? Just past Kings Island there on the north side of Cincinnati. That's headed there towards the Ohio River. We had that for a while, and that was putting a dusting on the roads here earlier. But now the snow is lightening up enough that a lot of the roads, at least the interstates, are looking a little bit better. Some have a slight film on them. I'll show you the road sensors here in just a moment, but we do have some snow showers for at least another 2.5 to 3 hours. I think by the time you're waking up tomorrow morning, you could see a stray snowflake, but it's not going to be doing what it's doing right now. It's not going to be doing what it's doing all afternoon. We had that big burst earlier this morning, and then we had these scattered snow showers really picking up this afternoon and evening. A lot of the parking lots are covered. This is just a live look in downtown. You can see Meridian's pretty wet, and if you look closely in between there in the median of Meridian, we still have a little bit of snow, and then you're looking at some of these side streets. They have still a little bit of snow on them too, and that may be what your road looks like overnight tonight. Your driveway probably has some snow on it, and we still have the flurries, although we can see the skyscrapers now. That is some improvement. Earlier we could not because the snow is coming down too heavily. The visibility has increased quite a bit, but the clouds are definitely low out there. We still have some of those snow showers. Right now in Indianapolis, it is 22. It is cold, and it is a dry and wispy snow out there. So what's good about the drier snow is that there's less water content in each snowflake. So as they're going down, there's less water to keep the roads damp. And with the winds now sustained at 18 miles per hour, we've got gusts near 30. Guys, it's windy out there. You felt it throughout the day today. That's caused our wind chills to be down into the single digits and teens. Because it's so windy, the roads, some of them are drying off a little bit better. You need the roads to be as dry as possible because if there's any dampness left over for the next couple of hours as the snow continues to fall and kind of melts on some of these roads, you're going to have more slick spots because there will be that flash freezing effect overnight tonight. I mean, it's cold, but as tire tracks go over the roads, kind of melt some of those extra snowflakes, and then you got the water there. So the question is the wind dried out real quick, or does it flash freeze eventually? I think every road's going to be a little bit different, but there are going to be a lot of slick spots out there. Just checking about, 15 minutes ago, we had over 40 school closings and delays headed into tomorrow. And tomorrow is kind of a wonky day with President's Day. Some schools, are just closed in general. They don't have to make a call. It makes it easy. But a lot of schools, they may have a snow makeup day kind of built in, but we've had to use snow days. So things are kind of still in motion for tomorrow. So we still have a lot of those closing and delays. I think we'll have an update tonight at 11 after the SNL 50th anniversary special that's on NBC right now. But it's cold, it's windy, the snow showers are still out there. I want to show you what it looks like across much of central Indiana with some of these cameras. We're snow covered in Greensburg. Tipton, we've got the snow, although in Tipton we're about to wrap things up in the next 2 hours. It's harder to see now that it's dark outside and the snowflakes are getting smaller as we kind of wind things down. So snow's a little bit lighter, a little bit smaller flakes. But we're coated out there overnight tonight, and there's not going to be melting other than a little bit of the light film on some roads, and you get a tire track to melt it. That's a little bit different, but otherwise it is just cold with a lot of these temperatures. I want to take a moment and look at some traffic here. We're going to pull up some cameras and some graphics where we have our traffic system. As of right now, time right now, 9:34. We're trying to get ready for bed, trying to plan out how it's going to be looking as you head into your Monday morning. This is a live look actually in Richmond. This is on I-70 right now. You can see the snowflakes still flying around. You can see them a little bit better once you look at some of these lampposts. This is actually US 27, Chester Boulevard. You go one way, you hit Meyer and head downtown Richmond. The other way, you go north into Fountain City, Northeastern, eventually all the way to Winchester. And you can see the interstate. It is looking, okay right now. There in Wayne County, where we have a little bit of the heavier snow still because we are off to the east just a little bit where the heavier bands have been pushing away for some time now. So we're going to be watching that. I'm going to in a moment bring up another camera for you guys, and we're going to take a look on I-70 west towards downtown Indianapolis. There it goes. Here in just a moment, it's going to pop up for you. The camera might actually went down when you see the red colors off to the side. But I'm going to show you again there towards Richmond. This is I-70 east once again. And these are what most of the interstates look like. So a little bit drier, a little bit better. But notice in between where you got the tire tracks, that little space, there's still a little bit of snow there. And that's going to be the case the next couple of hours. Now, closer to downtown Indianapolis, 65 is looking a little bit better. But then also look at these exit ramps and on and off ramps. Look how wet these are, how slick they are too. And you can see the tire tracks you get onto US 27. So I think this is just a good example of what a lot of interstate exits kind of look like right now. And this is where it's a little bit heavier still in Wayne County. So we have seen some more improvement out towards Lafayette and Terre Haute and Greencastle and Brazil. Crews have been working hard. You see a plow there going by too. Make sure you give the plows extra space as they're working hard overnight tonight. There are hundreds of plows activated across the state. They are working hard, but any wetness like this is going to continue to flash freeze overnight tonight. So please watch out for slick spots and give yourself just a little bit extra time as you're headed out the door. I'm going to hit the back button. We'll see if that camera did any better. We'll see if it kind of gets to it here in just a moment. This is Richmond. I'll go back one. Nope, camera's still down. I think it just went down out there. But I was going to show you I-70 West. It's kind of looks like this as you're headed into downtown as well. All right, road sensor maps. What are we seeing? A lot of times you see these kind of patches out there on I-70. That's what we're still getting on some of the interstates. But for the majority of the interstates, they're looking pretty good. Crews have been working hard on those, and you get more traffic to kind of melt things down. It's when you get off the interstate. They're on Lafayette Road, or they're on Post Road, or maybe you're on some of these, East 126, or even down towards the south towards Columbus and Franklin. Once you get off the interstate, it gets a little bit dicey, and then once you get to these county roads, that's where things are tricky. Even on my own road, just about an hour ago, you could see the snow drifting from the crop fields, the corn fields and soybean fields, just blowing right over onto the road because we have these wind gusts that are topping over 30 miles per hour at times. So, you may get some temporary clearing and then the snow comes back on. All right, so the map is not perfect. We do have snow-covered roads in Wayne County and Fayette County, and there towards Union County, Franklin County, also up north to Randolph and Jay County too. And then once you get to Tippecanoe County, we still have snow-covered roads. What this is kind of doing is kind of seeing, okay, we've seen the best snow there on the radar, which is kind of imperfect right now just because of the beam we were talking about earlier. But generally across Indiana, we've got snow patches on the roads, and that's going to linger. Temperatures are cold overnight tonight. Nothing's going to change. The interstates are moving fine. It looks like right now there could be a couple slowdowns there on 74, but to be honest, there aren't as many active accidents right now. But if you are driving this evening, don't be surprised if you see a lot of vehicles in the ditches. For example, I just headed home for a second, and I think I went by almost a different accident on the side of the road, whether the folks were still there or not, about, I don't know, once every 2 or 3 miles. So you're going to see a lot of that across central Indiana, probably just waiting until sunup tomorrow to really handle some of those situations, kind of leave the car there. But it's a mess out there, and we'll continue to watch it. But snow patches out there. Check with Lindsay and Chuck tomorrow morning. They'll show you where there could be accidents out there in the slick spots. They're just going to continue. There's nothing really to improve. Driving speeds are a little bit slower there on 65, so that's good. 65 is looking a lot better than it was a couple hours ago, but there's still some slick patches on there. We're down to about a 40 mile per hour speed right now, and 65 is what we're registering. There's about a 4 to 5 minute delay. You can still get to where you need to go, just a little bit slower. It seems like I-70 moving just a little bit faster from west to east through the city there at 60 miles per hour, down to about 55 miles per hour for your average going from east to west. And you guys know, at night, the speed seems to go up just a little bit on some of these. So this is showing a little bit slower than what it would be normally here at 9:39, 9:40 here on a Sunday night. So maybe a slight delay, but you're going to be able to get to where you need to go on the interstate. It's off the interstates and these exits that you got to watch out for. Just make sure you've got enough space to kind of brake before you hit the stop sign or the light there at the exit. But at least there are not a lot of active working accidents right now. But there are cars and ditches that crews have been responding to. This traffic is a lot lighter right now, so that's some good news overnight tonight. But snow patches will continue. Nothing, no way to get around those. We're looking at visibility. This is a good improvement too. We kind of rate visibility like we rate diving. The higher the number, up to 10, 10's your max. You're good. The lower you go, not so good. Even at 7 or even 6, I believe 6 is, 6 is our lowest here on the visibility map here in central Indiana. And that's really not too bad. But where you have the lower numbers is where you have a little bit of the snow flurry activity that's just a little bit heavier, maybe temporarily at the airport, kind of marking or obscuring just the visibility just a little bit. All right, so these were the traffic maps I just wanted to show you. There's not going to be much improvement overnight tonight. Crews are working out there. But because it's so cold, anything that does melt. So here in a moment, we're going to bring back some of these weather maps that I want to show you and plan out the rest of your evening and overnight. But at least, roads have improved just because of traffic themselves. But on some of these more rural roads, you're going to notice Still the snow on there. There's nothing to melt them, and you may get blowing snow and drifting snow to just kind of recover some of these roads. So we'll be watching out for that. In a moment, we'll get some of these weather maps up, and then I can kind of show you what we're thinking for the rest this evening. But you can just see, let me go back real quick. We'll pull up links 1 here in just a moment, but at least the green is on the map where things are moving just a little bit better out there. Every once in a while, you'll kind of see a little bit of a yellow spot, so maybe a quick slowdown. But otherwise, the sensors themselves, just snow patches out there throughout the overnight hours. And these are the delays again. But we'll continue to watch the snow showers, I think, right up to about midnight. Because that back edge is just beyond the map here, right near the state line with Illinois. And once we get that back edge through, we'll be done for the evening. In a moment, we'll be pulling up links 1. And we'll show you what those weather maps are for the rest of this evening. And in the meantime, I'm going to hit the back button, and we can go back to some of those road sensors. Yeah, so blue on the map, showing you the patches of snow that are still out there on the road. So give yourself a little extra time. And I think you'll really be able to get to where you need to go tomorrow morning. I mean, this wasn't the biggest snow for us, but it has been impactful, mainly because we weren't able to put any pretreatment down on the roads, because we went over from rain straight to snow. And so that made things a little bit tricky there. But when you zoom out, we don't have as many of the snow patches now in Illinois. The wind kind of drying off some of the roads. You get the wet spots, wind kind of dries it out. So the wind actually does help us in that factor, because if it's just cold, not windy, it actually helps the flash freezing effect. But if drier air comes in, sometimes you can dry off the road. But we'll just have a mix of these patches. Jack, are we able to pull up links 1 here in a moment? There we go. All right, so some of the cameras you see across central Indiana, again, temperatures in those low 20s. So let's go ahead and move forward back to the radar. Here's live Doppler 13. We got some high resolution data. This is just one radar site. We're not using a composite where you kind of saw everything. This is just using the Indianapolis radar, and you see it coming down. I mean, the white color shows you the lighter snow. And then once you see a little bit more of this blue, you've got a little bit of a heavier burst. Nothing insane, but just a little bit steadier there. And it looks like that band of steadier snow is right there for the Eagles in Zionsville, right through Carmel and Fishers. And then on the north side of Indianapolis, kind of still within the loop, Meridian Hills, Broad Ripple getting some of that, extending east into Lawrence, north and central, Warren Central, we're getting some of that. And then extends east into Fortville and Greenfield. There in Mount Comfort and up to the Pendleton Arabians. You guys got some decent snow. The band was sitting over Brownsburg and downtown, but it looks like that band's kind of moved off to the north and kind of pushing east. So eventually we are trying to move things out. But looking back off towards the west, this is what's going to head in next. And this is just light snow. I mean, these are flurries. They're good flurries, but they're not as heavy as they were. You can see some of the heavier snow now on the east side of Indianapolis. So Knightstown headed east towards Newcastle and Richmond is where we've got still, good little bursts of snow every once in a while. So the white color, of course, shows you the radar dome snow for Indy. This is back to the composite. Once again, that back edge is somewhere in eastern Illinois. So we still have to push that through. We could start clearing Indianapolis close to midnight. We'll start clearing eastern Indiana. We're talking Richmond, Hagerstown, there towards Newcastle and Centerville and Winchester. It's going to be a little bit later, Connorsville and Brookville Lake, maybe about 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning. Then we should be mostly done. I mean, there could still be a stray flurry tomorrow. But the reason why we have these flurries, I mean, look at the storm. The storm's way off towards the east. When you get these cold northwest winds, what you're doing is you're actively cooling down the atmosphere, not just here on the ground, but you're also cooling up to where those clouds are. And so colder air, you can see a little bit more water vapor, kind of like your breath. If it's really cold outside, you breathe out, you can see, the water vapor turn into a cloud. Kind of the same thing's happening as the cold air rushes south. You cool the atmosphere, you cool the clouds, and the clouds actually get bigger, and they start producing snow. So this is what we call a cold air advection, cold air moving in type of snow that just creates it in the low levels. Right on the bottoms of these clouds, they get thick enough. And so we've got snow showers all across the Great Lakes. But if you look on the western edge of the Great Lakes, we do start to see a little bit of the drier air moving in, dry enough to just push out the snow. You kind of have to hit that sweet spot. We've been in that sweet spot for a while. All right, next storm system coming in from the Rockies. Doesn't look like much, but you see some of the snow that's developing across Nebraska. That's going to grow, turning probably to a winter storm for Kansas and Missouri. And then the question is, does it come more towards Kentucky or does it come more towards southern Indiana, maybe even central Indiana? We're working on that right now. In fact, we've got an article on our website right now, kind of the deep dive on what we're expecting for that storm system. That would be Tuesday night and Wednesday for us, but that'll be developing over the next 48 hours and arriving probably within the next 48 hours here at home too. All right, right now we're sitting in the 20s area wide. It doesn't feel like the 20s with those winds. These are your sustained winds. These are what they're doing constantly. We've got a 22-mile-per-hour sustained wind in Kokomo. It's pretty good. 10 in Richmond, 22 in Shelbyville, and 17 there on the campus of IU, 18 miles per hour at the campus of Ball State. Our gusts are sometimes 30 or 35 miles per hour. Guys, we had gusts near 40 a little bit earlier today, so the winds have slowly notched down just a little bit, but you still feel them, and they're going to continue to blow overnight tonight. I think by tomorrow morning we'll have speeds around 10 miles per hour, so they'll be a little bit better, but just enough that you will feel them, and we'll have even a worse wind chill. Right now the wind chills are still above zero. That won't be the case for much longer. It feels like it's only 7 in Indy and Greencastle and Lafayette. It feels like it's only 8 in Kokomo and Bloomington. But I want to show you where we're going tomorrow morning. This is kind of a model simulation of winds and temperatures, put them together for the wind forecast. Monday morning, tomorrow morning, 8 o'clock. Wind chills in the single digits close to Indy. You get north of Indy and just east of Indy, we're going to have wind chills at -10 or worse than that. Maybe down to -14 in Kokomo, maybe even worse as you head up towards the region in parts of northern and northwest Indiana. The last remaining single-digit wind chills will be really towards the south. Guys, it's going to be really cold tomorrow morning with those northwest winds. And the wind chill will get a little bit better in the afternoon. 2 reasons. Number one, it will get just slightly warmer. I mean, we're going to head to the teens tomorrow. That's all we'll do. Well, guys, we're not getting above freezing until this coming weekend. So bundle up. It's going to be a cold week. Number two, the winds will slowly get even a little bit calmer throughout the day, so you kind of factor those two in. You're able to get to single-digit wind chills. That's a little bit better, and then cooling off again later into the evening. So some fierce wind chills throughout the day tomorrow. It's just going to be a cold week. I wouldn't be surprised if when we take a look at the full week and kind of compared to other weeks, it might be our third coldest week of the winter. You're going to feel it out there. And as temperatures are just cold, any kind of moisture that comes at us, we'll have the chance for some snow. We're going to have black ice and slick spots, I think, all week long. I think we're going to have them tomorrow morning. That's why we've got over 40 school delays out there as of right now for these schools who are not necessarily just completely off for President's Day. It's a snow makeup day. Well, we kind of need it for some of us. But dress for the cold and just give yourself a little extra travel time. And especially give yourself extra travel time there Wednesday morning. So our next storm comes then. I think Tuesday evening, Tuesday night, through the night into Wednesday morning. Got a good, snow chance, maybe a few inches of snow on the way. Tomorrow morning, Chuck and Lindsay, they're going to have a little bit more of an update on what you could see there. And then Sean and Angela will have a little bit more on the fine tuning of some of the totals, kind of the rough totals. So we head into your Tuesday night and Wednesday morning. We do think the heaviest totals will be south of Indianapolis because we think the heart of the storm will be closer to the Ohio River. But today, everyone got some good snow. If you want to see how much snow you picked up, how much other folks picked up on our website right now, if you go to the weather section, you go to blog, there you can find some of the snowfall total reports that we had as of 6. Even in the past, 3.5 hours, we have gotten a little bit of extra snow. Maybe dusting to a ½ inch in some spots, with these flurries, these pretty heavy flurries at times that continue to come down. So we've got another 2-3 hours to go. I think midnight to 1 is a good estimation on cutoff time. Everyone's going to have something just a little bit different, but we're slowly making it there. These snow bands have just continued as the cold air continues to rush in. It's going to be a cold week. We're not back above freezing until maybe Sunday. At least the weekend does look a lot sunnier. That's something. Even if it's cold, when the sun's out, things just seem better, right? Because it's so cloudy this time of year. I believe February is it's either the second or third cloudiest month. I have to look at the stats. January is number 1. But we're in a cloudy period, and we're going to be a cloudy week. I think tomorrow we'll have a mix of sun and clouds for your President's Day with a stray flurry. Nothing like we had today. But the really next system chance will be Tuesday and Wednesday as we watch another low come in from the west. So get ready for a cold week. Get ready for slick spots. What do you ever have right now on your road is probably what you're going to have waking up tomorrow morning. Give yourself extra time. There will probably be some black ice. There'll be some more snow blowing back over on some of these roads too. So watch out for a snowy start, but at least the snow falling is going to be ending here shortly. Make sure you keep it here, keep it local.